The Atharva Shirsha Upanishad, presented by Svayam Prakash Sharma. Part 2, Conclusion. The one God in all the world spaces, born in ancient times and in a mother's womb. He was born in the past and he will be born again in the future. He is in men and he is omnipresent. He is present everywhere. There is only one Rudra. Do not worship him as a second. There is no other like him. He rules over the world with his regal powers. He dwells in all the creatures and he gathers them all into himself at the end when he, the guardian, devours all creatures. Who as one presides over every womb through whom the whole universe spreads out. The person who knows him as ruler, as God, as liberal giver, as praiseworthy, he enters into that peace forever. Such persons shun the world, which they see as the root of the causal net. They wisely surrender to Rudra all their acquisitions, and they acknowledge Rudra as the unity, as the eternal, as the senior in refreshment and in energy. They all acknowledge him as the one who cuts their bonds of death. And so it happens that by means of the sacred sound Om, when he penetrates the soul, then the Lord grants peace and the release of creatures from their bonds by the 3.5 sounds of Om. The first sound of Om has Brahma as its deity and is red in color. He who meditates on it continuously, he goes to the abode of Brahma. The second sound of Om has Vishnu as its deity and is black in color. He who meditates on it continuously, he goes to the abode of Vishnu. The third sound of Om has Ishan as its deity and is brown in color. He who meditates on it continuously, he goes to the abode of Ishan. But the 3.5 sound of Om has all these as its deities. It is unmanifest. It goes out into the wide. It is pure and it resembles a mountain crystal in color. He who meditates on it continuously, he goes to the abode of bliss. Therefore, one should revere this. The silent ascetics proclaim it wordlessly, silently, because it cannot be grasped. The way to the north, the Uttarayan path, is the prescribed path by which the gods, by which the ancestors, and by which the rishis go to the highest of the highest goals. They go to the supreme goal. Minute, like the tip of a hair, in the middle of the heart dwells the omnipresent, the golden, the dear God. The wise who see him dwelling as such within themselves, they alone attain peace, and not others who do not see him dwelling within themselves. They leave anger, they leave greed, and they leave all their worldly desires to him. They shun the world, which is the root of the causal net, and they wisely surrender all their acquisitions to Rudra, and they acknowledge Rudra as the unity. For Rudra is the controller through eternal, old refreshment and energy, and through austerities. What is called fire is ashes. What is called wind is ashes. What is called water is ashes. What is called earth is ashes. What is called ether is ashes. And the whole universe is ashes, as is the mind and these eyes. Because this is the vow of the Pashupat, that he covers his limbs with ashes. Therefore, this is the Pashupat form of prayer, so that creation be freed from the bonds that bind it. To Rudra, who is in fire, to Rudra, who is in water, to Rudra, who has entered plants and creepers, and to Rudra, who has become all these creatures, we salute this Rudra as Agni. To Rudra, who is in fire, to Rudra, who is in water, to Rudra, who has entered plants and creepers, and to Rudra, who has become all these creatures, we salute this Rudra again and again. Rudra, who is in water, Rudra, who is in plants and trees, Rudra, by whom the world is held on high, by whom the earth is supported in a twofold or threefold form, as supporter, and the snakes who dwell in the atmosphere. We salute this Rudra again and again. When Atharvan sewed together, when Atharvan stitched together his head and the heart in him, he stimulated him over the brain as the purifier from the head downward. This head, which is a cask stuffed with gods, belongs to Atharvan. This head is guarded jointly by pran, food, and the mind, who unite to do so. There are 9 heavens, there are 9 atmospheres, and there are 9 earths here, all of which are guarded by the divine community. He who is sewn, he who is stitched lengthwise and crosswise in all, nothing exists apart from him. Nothing is earlier than him, nothing is later than him, nothing that had been in the past, and nothing that was going to be in the future. With 1,000 feet and only one head, he pervades the world and makes it roll. From the eternal Brahm, time is born, and from time he is called the pervader. When Rudra coils himself like a serpent and lies down, then all the creatures are withdrawn within him. When he breathes out, then darkness originates. From darkness comes water, and when he stirs the water with his finger, what is stirred becomes cold in the cold. And when that is stirred, it becomes foam. And out of the foam originates the atmosphere, originates the universal egg, the egg of the universe. And out of this egg is born Brahma. Out of Brahma is born the wind. Out of the wind comes the sound Om. Out of the sound Om comes Savitri. And out of Savitri comes Gayatri. And out of Gayatri come all the worlds. Those who do not forget liberation, those who always remember liberation, when they pour out the sweet drink, they praise austerity and truth. Indeed, this is the highest austerity. This is water. This is light. This is the essence. This is the immortal Brahm. Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, Om. Our salutation to you, our salutation to Brahma. The Brahman who studies this Atharva Shirsha, if he is not an authority on scriptures, by the study of this Upanishad, he becomes an authority on scriptures. An uninitiated person becomes an initiated person. He is purified by fire. He is purified by wind. He is purified by som. He is purified by truth. He is known by all the gods. He is meditated upon by all the Vedas who appear here as persons. He becomes one who has bathed in all the holy bathing places, and he becomes one who has performed all the sacrifices. 60,000 Gayatri stanzas are recited by him. 100,000 stanzas of the Itihas, Purans, and of the Rudra hymns are recited by him. 10,000 pranavs are recited by him. He purifies the assembly of people as far as his sight reaches, and he purifies up to the seventh generation of his descendants and his ancestors. Thus has the Exalted One promised. He who recites the Atharva Shirsha once, he becomes pure, and purified, he becomes fit for activity. He who recites it a second time, he attains supremacy over the host of the Supreme God. He who recites it a third time, he enters into a similar existence. Om, truth, Om, truth, Om, truth. This concludes the Atharva Shirsha Upanishad. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.